be a sponge, and then bring the juice.
By focusing on your improvement, by focusing on your progress, and eliminating any fixed mindset that you may have and acts of perfectionism, then you encourage your own mastery.
On some level, we do what we want to do 24 hours a day. Now, sometimes it may not seem like that, but if I'm choosing to work instead of sleep, what I'm actually saying is keeping my job is more important than sleeping.
I'm tired of this. I'm tired of getting beat. What can I do to get over this hump? So mentally, that's when I kind of put that forefront, like, hey, it's either all or nothing.
I like to put failure in quotations because I don't believe that failure is true failure if you're looking at it with the right mindset.
The truth is, the journey to greatness is hard. It takes time, it takes effort, it takes focus, and every day you have to decide what you value, what you want to pursue, and what you want to achieve. And if you dig deep enough, if you push hard enough, we all have what it takes to be great. Welcome to the Edge of Greatness. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Dose. It is Thursday, March 23rd. We are just cruising through this month. And today I wanted to talk to you about one of the pillars, people. When you hear that, a lot of times people are like, what do you mean, people? What is that? What are we trying to do? And a lot of it comes down to building a team or a group or just having the right organizational support. And now when I say organizational support, that doesn't mean like you have the job organizational support, but you can create organizational support in your own life. One of the most valuable things that I have going for me from the people perspective is I have a number of people that I can bounce things off of and who will give me quick, immediate, and relevant feedback. I have a friend that I actually train who I get to talk to and we bounce ideas off. And I use a lot of time with him from a writing and creative perspective to keep my mind sharp and allow me to play around in some different areas. And we kind of build these imaginary perspectives, but it gives me a way to work together with somebody to not always try to do it by myself. But one of the other things that I have going for me is I have a group that we use, Marco Polo, and we communicate back and forth. I'm going to keep their names out of it just because I did not ask if they were okay if I talked about them today. But the other day, a question was posed in the group for some coaching, for some options and some ideas. And we kind of went back and forth and we gave feedback to each other on different ways to do things, different ideas, different concepts, different directions that we can take our businesses. And there was so much value exchanged in that short little video that we gave. So there's only 3 of us in the group. But I feel like because we each have our own unique angle to come at stuff with, we ultimately benefit greater because we're on a similar path with different perspectives. Find people who want to do what you're doing. Form a group with them. There's nothing more valuable than having people in your corner and supporting you on your way. It's even more valuable if they can provide incredible coaching, incredible feedback. They're honest. They're willing to challenge you, question what you're doing. I think that's one of my favorite things about my Marco Polo group is that they always ask more questions than they do give advice. Like there's advice in there, but it's usually advice wrapped in, okay, but why do you want to do this? Tell me more about that. How does this fit into what you're doing here? And it makes me think, am I choosing the right thing because it fits, or am I choosing this thing because it's easy and it's the first thing that came to mind? Or am I on the wrong path altogether and I needed to kind of reevaluate and step back? Having those people in your life who can create thought, that question without being negative. Like that's the best part is you need people to question what you're doing without feeling like you're being attacked for doing it a certain way. And there's a real art to that, and it's a real trust situation. But the better you get those people in your life, the more often you're going to find that you can get better results more often, because they'll help open up ideas. They'll help open up directions that you can't see. Because a lot of times what happens is when we start to work on something, we get blinders and we end up working through this tunnel vision type of approach, and we miss a lot of things that are happening on the peripheral. If you have the right people, they can ask the right questions to open up that perspective. And now all of a sudden you're like, oh, I didn't see that over there, or I never thought about that angle. So use the people in your life that you trust, ask questions, give them specific things that you're working on, and see what kind of answers they give you. The better we get connected with people who are similar on our journey, but different on their perspectives, the greater your chances are of success. So I hope that was a good one for you today, because I think a lot of people get caught up on what is people? Where do I go? Who are my people? And it's going to take some time, but don't be afraid to reach out. Ask certain people if you know that, hey, that you're doing something interesting. I'm trying to do this. Do you mind if we kind of work together and collaborate and we kind of bounce ideas off each other? I think you'd be surprised how many people are going to be like, yeah, no, that sounds great. Let's do that. Because a lot of us need accountability partners. A lot of us need idea generators. A lot of us need people to keep us thinking in new ways. And, I think that that's an ultimate pillar that often gets missed, is these groups and organizations of people that can keep us charging forward. So hope you have a wonderful Thursday. As always, keep reaching for the stars. Fall flat on your face. Remember, whenever we fall, always get up. Thank you for joining us today on the Edge of Greatness podcast. If you haven't yet, please take a minute now to subscribe and review our show. Join us again next week as we continue to dig deeper into the key components of greatness. The path to greatness is never linear, so remember to keep pursuing greatness no matter what. Keep stretching your abilities, reach for the stars, and fall flat on your face. But remember, no matter what happens, whenever we fall, always get up. Until next time, I'm Charles Schultz, and this was the Edge of Greatness podcast.